All right, here we go. Make sure my sound is good. All right, awesome. So this is my persuasive speech. My topic is open up. Hope you can see me. Is open up America. The purpose of my speech is to persuade my audience to agree with the idea of opening the nation back up in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. My thesis statement is the need for social connection is necessary for mental health. So here we go. Just imagine being locked inside of your dwelling from sun up to sundown. Nowhere to go. And even if you could go somewhere, it's probably not opened. And if it is open, there's very limited hours. Not only are you stuck in the house, but your kids are as well, with no outlets like schools, extracurricular activities, gyms, sports functions. Your significant other locked in there with you as well, without the break of them going to work or what other activities they're involved in. I mean, just being locked in. To me, that sounds kind of like jail. And I mean, I've been to jail, just to be completely transparent. And that's basically what it sounds like. And that's exactly what's going on right now with not only the nation, but the world, is that people are being forced to stay inside on lockdown, shelter in place, for fear of transmitting the coronavirus. I do understand that the coronavirus is dangerous. People are dying. People are getting sick. And I really want you to understand that I'm not being an a-hole, because my father was tested positive for COVID-19. It's a real thing. It was really rough on him. I wasn't even able to see my dad for like almost 3 weeks. So I get it. It's dangerous. However, I believe that locking people in place in their homes can cause problems and issues that are much more dangerous than the coronavirus. For example, the nation needs to open back up for the sake of mental health. For mental health. And I'm not saying that to be funny, like, oh, I'm going crazy if I see my kid for another hour. No, like, I mean, seriously, for mental health. And I'm specifically talking about addiction. That topic is pretty sensitive to me because I am a recovering addict and I participate, or I am in the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous. I know it is an anonymous group, but I'm okay with people knowing that about myself. Narcotics Anonymous, and the way that they are designed, is that people meet up every single day for at least an hour a day. And they do service projects in the community, helping people out, taking food to the homeless, and they do lots and lots of service work. But the main thing that really keeps the fellowship solid is that meeting for 1 hour every day. Addicts like myself, can't speak for all of them, we need to not be isolated, and we need to be responsible to be in a place, in a location with other people. We need support. It keeps us clean. It keeps us sober. Throughout this lockdown period, I have had several of my close friends who were in the fellowship of Narcotics Anonymous relapse. And it's sad. It's really sad. Because a lot of those people were doing well and were clean and were sober for years. And it just so happened that coincidentally they relapsed in lockdown whenever we did not have access to going to meetings. I know that some people who don't struggle with addiction or don't understand that probably won't sympathize with how serious meetings are, but addiction kills people. And those meetings for 1 hour a day have kept people clean for 10, 20, 30 years, you know. And like I said in the beginning, I understand the coronavirus and the dangers of it, but addiction has killed and will kill more people than the coronavirus has killed and ever will kill. So just for the sake of us little addicts, you know what I'm saying? Lockdown is not safe for us, because isolation is the breeding ground for addiction to fester and manifest and grow, you know. And even aside from that, I would like to also talk about how this lockdown is affecting children. Now, this is really my heart, because I have a background in education. I was a teacher for several years. I've worked in camps and boys and girls clubs and Upward Bound and all kind of things like that. And so kids are my heart. And I was reading a study and some statistics that was reported by RAINN, which is the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. And in the month of March, which is lockdown month, there was a 22% increase in calls from minors reporting abuse, rape, or incest from family members in the home. That just kind of really makes my skin crawl a little bit, because I mean, children need advocates, and they need people to speak for them, because they can't necessarily speak for themselves. And if that 22% increase of calls were calls from minors themselves, what about the kids that couldn't call? And they're being locked down in places that are way more dangerous than any coronavirus could ever be. I worked for Child Protective Services for a few years in Bexar County, San Antonio, and it's already a hard pill to swallow that day in and day out children are abused and they're raped and they're molested and they're neglected and all kinds of things like that. But more often than not, children are abused and raped and molested and neglected in their own homes. And the only solution for that is to get children out of their homes, to get them into safer environments. As a teacher, I had several students whose safe haven was, you know, it's rough and it's not safe at my home. I get beat and this and that and the other, but at least I get some sort of refuge when I go to school from 8 to 3. And now children are being locked in their homes with their biggest enemies, and they are not safe. And that's evidenced by the increase of reputed abuse and rape calls from minors. And that's crazy, because I don't know, I've never been abused or raped or any of that stuff as a child, but I can guarantee that I would prefer taking the risk of catching the coronavirus than being locked away with an abuser for hours on end. You know what I mean? And I mean, let's just tie the two together. Let's say that okay, never mind, I'm not even gonna go there. I was about to go real far and like tie adult addicts in the home to abuse children and just the domino effect that can be, but I'll just leave it at that. Being locked in is a terrible episode for addicts who are active or recovering, and definitely children who can't even speak or save themselves. Wow. I'm sorry, that's kind of deep. Woo. Let me get back here. So, although, like I said, and I'm going to keep on saying that I understand that the coronavirus is dangerous, and I know that it is. I saw my dad deal with it for a really long time, to me, 3 weeks. There's another way. You know, we can still go out of our homes and be safe at the same time. Complete isolation is not good. Like this right here. Got it on my in my car. Keep it with me. Mask up. Put a mask on. Hand sanitizer everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying? And these are my visual aids. I just feel like lockdown is just too drastic of a step when there are other measures that could be made to keep people safe and to still run a normal community. Masks, hand sanitizer, gloves, things like that can keep us safe and still allow for people to get out and go where they need to go. So, sheesh. In conclusion, I would like to say that I just really hope that people consider some of the situations that they might not personally be going through, but that other people are, and just see and try to get a grasp that these other situations that people are dealing with, mental health, illnesses, abuse, rape, molestation, addiction, alcoholism, and things like that are far more dangerous than the coronavirus could ever be. I'm actually, don't tell anyone, I'm headed to a secret Narcotics Anonymous meeting. I can't tell you where it's going to be or anything because we're not supposed to be meeting, but I'm going and I'm taking the risk of meeting in a public place with other recovering addicts because I would rather risk catching the coronavirus or maybe getting fined or something like that than a relapse. I'm more scared of the coronavirus I'm more scared of other effects that lockdown could potentially do to me and my mind as an individual than the coronavirus. I would take that risk. Masks and sanitizer, man. Thank you. Thanks for an awesome semester too, man. This was a really good semester. I know I just really ran over that speech, but thank you. Have a good summer, man.